reverse zoom into blind pig. The Pistons ran a great combination of actions from the American game the other night to beat a pressure defense against the Bucks. Let's check this out.
Gabe Cunningham brings up.
All right. First of all, shout out to Slept On Hoops. We're going to check this play out by the Pistons. Slept On Hoops, great video here. So this is a pressure breaker offensive play, beating a three-quarter court, kind of a tongue twister there, press by the Bucks. It's a man-to-man press. It's very difficult to run any sort of zone pressure scheme further than three-quarter court, really even to that level in the NBA, given the offensive prowess of the players. It's really hard to stay in front of these guys in open space like that. And, I mean, of course, the argument is there that NBA defenders should be better, but it gets to a point where offense, especially with the rule limitations that defense has been given over recent decades, it's impossible to guard guys in open space, especially at this level when these guys are this good. So at best, you're going to see man presses in the NBA for the most part. You might occasionally see somebody throw a crazy look in there, but you're not. It's just ineffective, you know. And these guys know how to beat these presses as well. People will find the space, and it's a quick dribble move, and they're gone. It's off to the races if you try to run a zone press. It's just not a good look. So this is a man press that they're beating. Let's watch it.
The ball, but you can see Andre Jackson Jr. picking him up.
So now the two actions that are this play is comprised of are blind pig and zoom. I'm calling this reverse zoom into blind pig press break. Now that's a mouthful, but if I were to use this in a coaching setting, which I may in the future, if I'm ever given the opportunity to return to the sideline, you know, in the right setting, I would definitely think about employing this play. But blind pig, let's start with blind pig. It's a UCLA concept. These are both concepts from the American side of the game. Obviously, there are a lot of concepts from all over the world internationally nowadays being employed in the NBA. Blind pig comes from UCLA, and essentially what it is there are many ways to run it. You can run it off an inbound. There are a couple ways to do it, but you're throwing it from the wing to the high post, you know, faking as if you're going to get the ball back on a dribble handoff or something like that, and going backdoor for the blind pig. Okay, so in fewer words, that's essentially what blind pig is. It's a backdoor cut on the weak side, or, you know, sometimes on the strong. It's a backdoor cut. All right, it's a backdoor cut. Wing throws to the high post, and then backdoor cuts. Okay, now zoom is a down screen into a dribble handoff. So in general, zoom would be like Cade be in the corner, right? And I think that's Jaden Ivey. He'd have the ball up top, and we're going, you know, down screen by Duren to the corner. You're coming off, straight cutting that, and then dribble handoff and curling when Jaden Ivey hands you the ball. Okay, so it's kind of, the dribble handoff functions as a screen. I've said that for a long time. A well-executed dribble handoff does. So curling that is basically like getting a down screen set for you, and you're curling it, except you're going to get the ball off the dribble handoff as opposed to a pass from the top of the key. Now, this is going to be reverse zoom. It's a back screen in the full court as opposed to from the, you know, down screen from the corner or from the wing or whatever, or from the break, wherever you might be. And the dribble handoff is faked into blind pig. So I'll show you that. Now, everything is extended here. In the modern day, I feel like, you know, we can talk about the high post, pinch post being this area up here. This is the high post. And pinch post is, I might have to refresh myself on whether the pinch post is the weak side or the strong side. It doesn't really matter at this point, but, you know, and those are going to be team-specific terms as well. But right here, this elbow, that area is considered the high post, okay? But in the modern day, with guys shooting and expanding their range, and especially things being played in transition more, I would consider this a high post action, what we're about to see. Even though it's being run from outside the three-point line, I would just consider it to still be a high post action. Just like nowadays with rip cuts, like right, a 45-degree rip cut, a 45 cut, which is when, you know, you see the opposite side drive, hit the paint, and then you're cutting off of that because there's going to be a little bit of help. It's going to make you blind. It's going to make the defender blind to you, and you can cut and score sometimes off of that because the double he has to go rotate to help, and you're just attacking right at the soft spot of the rotation, right? So that's kind of the idea, but nowadays when we saw the Hornets do it, they're going to run it from way further out. Instead of waiting till that guy starts getting close to the paint, as soon as he crosses the three-point line in transition, you can take off, right? Like it's just things are extended in this transition setting.
Jalen Duren notices and comes up to set a screen for Cade. But that was when Cade quickly passed the ball to Jaden.
So this is essentially, if you look at it, it's a reverse zoom, right? You can think about this being run from the corner, it'd be down screen into a dribble handoff.
And Ivy on the other side. And this is where the play gets interesting. After the pass, Cade uses Duren's screen and sprints towards Ivy like he's about to get a dribble handoff. But they fake the handoff.
So that would have been zoom right there. That would have been reverse zoom. Textbook, I would have called it reverse zoom. I don't know if anybody else uses that term, but I would have called it that. Cade Cunningham going to the basket. I actually think in this, it seems like this scenario, the spacing would have worked for that as well. But here we have Jaden Ivey throwing it back from the wing, right? From the wing to the high post. I mean, essentially this is the high post. In this transition setting when there's a pressure defense, things expand. This is the high post. And you have the backdoor cut coming from the wing area.
Duren catches it.
It's not the same player, but
It immediately throws a bounce pass to Cade. And Cade finishes with a two-handed.
And so you have reverse zoom to blind pig. Now, the setup here, you have, you can't see the full court here. But
you can see Andre Jackson Jr. picking him up full court. Jalen Duren notices and comes up to set a screen for Cade.
Essentially, you have the setup, and now this could theoretically be run out of the half court as well, right? You could run this with Cade having the ball at the top of the key, Jalen Duren setting a ball screen, and him throwing it to the wing or the break or whatever it might be, maybe lower in the mid post, probably in the mid post if we're gonna do it in the half court. So you're gonna throw it to the mid post, and you're gonna use that what was going to be a ball screen as an off ball screen, as essentially a flare or some sort of back screen somewhere in between that on that spectrum, right? And then you're gonna take that, go fake dribble handoff into blind pig, which is throw it from the wing to the high post and back to the cutter. Now, again, the zoom action, I believe, comes from the Princeton offense. So these are, like Spain, there are concepts that come from internationally, but this comes from the American game, which to me makes it, I think that these concepts, especially the use of screens and trying to manipulate the defense in that way is kind of an American principle.
That was when Cade quickly passed the ball to Jaden Ivey on the other side.
It makes it intuitive for a lot of guys that play and grow up in America.
And this is where the play gets interesting. After the pass, Cade uses Duren's screen and sprints.
But look at this, is even that first one that just gets you some space, right? It gets you some space. It's not going to give you an open shot, but it gets you some space. Against elite defenders like this, that's everything, though, because then this second action, when you run consecutive actions, makes it very difficult. Now, just off of this, if you were to incorporate this into an offense, you have all sorts of options here. You have the handoff itself, right? You have the fake handoff and the dive. It looks like
about to get a dribble handoff, but they faked it.
For a moment here, it almost looks like Cade is about to, if they fake the handoff a little harder to Cade, 13 might jump, and Jaden Ivey's going to have that driving lane.
And instead hit Duren
for the dive.
Duren catches it and immediately.
You have this back, and depending on how they're playing this, you can shoot the three-pointer right here. You have that back cut. You have probably a dribble pull-up, force another rotation, kick. There are a lot of different options off of this consecutive action, right?
There was a bounce pass to Cade.
Off of these consecutive actions.
And Cade finishes with a two-hand.
And that's another principle that's been very common in recent memory, probably in the past half decade or so, is consecutive actions. When you're running consecutive actions offensively, it's easy to guard the first action. Okay, at this point, there's a way people say this in NBA circles that I've seen on podcast interviews and stuff like that basketball is a solved game. Now I disagree with that. What that means is like tic-tac-toe, right? Tic-tac-toe, there are like 2 or 3 main strategies. It's a solved game. To really good tic-tac-toe players, it's always going to be a tie, right? So then, in this context of basketball where a solved game, there would be no strategic, there'd be a couple different strategies, and you just kind of cancel each other out, nullify each other strategically, and then the best players will end up winning, right? To an extent, there's that argument to be made about basketball, but there are always ways to innovate, right? So these consecutive actions, that's where you start to get things be thrown off. If you know how to guard a dribble handoff, right? Your team has an emphasis. We're going to jump this. We're going to blitz this. We're going to play drop coverage on this type of action. Now that's cool against one action, okay? Against this personnel, against this guy. Now if you do that and then they do something else right off of the back of that. They down screen the drop coverage, throw it to the corner. He's wide open for a three. You don't have. It's hard to defend that. I mean, you gotta, you have to kind of adapt. And I think that's where we're at in the evolution of the game today, strategically, is that consecutive actions are working offensively at the moment. So until somebody figures out defensively how to cover that, we'll see plays like this.
Dunk.
And this is look, I had a phase, right? I mean, I'm just a human being, but coaching basketball and stuff like that, I kind of like pouted for a little bit because my career wasn't going the way it was supposed to go, at least the way I felt it should have gone. And I was sitting here talking shit about the NBA and talking about how the NBA sucks and blah 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 blah. And that was more of like emotion than anything else on my part. But obviously the NBA is the highest level of the game, right?
See Andre Jackson Jr.
And you can listen to me flap my gums all day and other people who didn't make it to that level or have not yet about how trash the NBA is. But at the end of the day, this is the best level of basketball in the world, and it probably will be forever.
Him up full court. Jalen Duren noticed.
And is it perfect? Are there things that fundamentalists, purists would want to change about it? Are there things that more maybe skill guys and coming from that perspective, coming from that background, would do? And you can't please everybody, is all I'm trying to say. But I mean, this is still the beauty of the game of basketball, man.
Comes up to set
it's chess.
Screen for.
And this is a great example of the way Americans play that game of chess. A combination of a couple classic American basketball offensive principles. It's a beauty to watch. I love it. And this was a fun video for me. Hey, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what else I should talk about next, all right? Peace and love.